Did you know that North America has a Viking heritage? Let's sit down by the campfire and I'll tell you more about it. Look at this! That must be the little Nisse who's been here and made a campfire for me. Wonderful. It was the son of Eric the Red, Leif Eiriksson, who set sail in the year 1000 across the strait, across the sea between Greenland and what is now Canada. And he found land there because it had already been spotted, and he made a settlement in a place called, I believe Americans or Canadians, they pronounce it Lance O Meadows. That's on Newfoundland. And you can actually go there and visit the site of what is believed to have been Leif Eiriksson's settlement there on Newfoundland. And it was probably used as sort of a base camp for the Norsemen, and women actually. We'll get back to that. When they traveled further south along the coast of North America. And they probably went there mainly for timber. And they named an area there Markland, which means woodland or forest. And there has been found larch, the tree larch, on Greenland in the archaeological digs there, so that they can safely say that larch was used during the Viking Age on Greenland. And the interesting part is that at least during the Viking Age you would not have found larch on Greenland or Iceland or in Norway. So it probably came from North America. Now, before I continue with this video, you might have noticed that I probably wrote something along the lines of, you know, colony of Danes or something like that, pointing at North America. I was just too tempted to do that because of the current recent political situation. Now, this is not a political channel, but it's something that has provoked people here in Scandinavia and on Greenland a lot. And it is not actually that far-fetched to use that word, Danes. And the reason is that people from Norway or people who originated in Norway or Denmark, they were during the Viking Age very often referred to as Danes, both the Norwegians and the Danes. So you could say actually that, well, they were Danes. But then of course other people would say, well, they were from Greenland or Iceland and so on. Leif and his men, they called the area where they settled Vinland. You may have heard that name before. And it comes from wine, so wine land. And there's a funny story attached to that name. And the story goes like this. So Leif, he had sort of a father figure in addition to his father. And this father figure who was probably from Germany or even further south. He was called Tyrke, and he is described as, I believe, being small of stature, like a small man, with a protruding forehead and shifting eyes. Yeah, the sagas can be very unkind sometimes. And they set Tyrke ashore because he wanted to go for a walk, apparently. And then he vanished. So they had to go and look for him. And when they found Tyrke, he was ecstatic and very happy. And he was talking in his native, apparently German. Because he had found wine grapes or something like that. And hence the name, wine land or Vinland. there is an interpretation there that says that he was drunk, but I don't know how he could have managed to make wine in such a short while. But he had found apparently grapes, so that now they could make wine, so they called it Wineland or Vinland. The lesser known part of North America's Viking history is that it was not only Leif who went there. Several other people actually traveled to North America. First of all, we have Frøydis. Frøydis, Eirik's daughter, Erik the Red's daughter, so-called illegitimate daughter. She was quite something. And there's a story about how not only did she lead an expedition there, but she also fought the natives. And the description is very colorful, and it might not be all true, but it's said that her men were too cowardly for her taste. So when they encountered the natives, which they called skrælingene, the skrælings, she was, now I can't remember if she was breastfeeding at the moment, but she attacked them, the natives, with a sword bare-breasted, and they became very afraid. So she was a whole lot of woman. Thorvald, Leif's brother, he went there, but he was also involved in a conflict with the natives, and he got killed. These people, they probably used Leif's settlement there as a base camp. And then Torstein, another brother of Leif, he tried to go there and retrieve Thorvald's body, but he did not succeed he had to turn back. And then we have another one who was not related to Erik the Red or Leif or these people, and he was called Thorfinn Karlsevne. And the name says basically that he was a man of talent, a man of ambition and talent. Karlsevne, that's what it means. So he sailed there, and he was a merchant, and he was quite successful apparently. These are the people in the sagas, and the important thing to understand here is that they cover probably only probably only a small part of the voyages there. This is my personal opinion, but I think that more people went there. But they were lesser known, and they didn't have their own saga, and they were not mentioned. But I think that actually a lot of Norsemen or Danes went to North America and sailed south along the coast there. And by the way, if you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button. And if there is something else you want me to talk about or show you concerning the Viking Age, let me know in the comment section. Leave me a comment there. It makes me very happy, and it makes the little Nisse, he is around here somewhere, it makes him very happy too. Maybe the Nisse lives in here. Hello? You know what? I can crawl inside. With the current modern new rules for energy efficiency and so on in my house, this will be where I will be living in the future. So, for how long did the Vikings stay in North America? My guess, based on archaeological evidence and the sagas, is that they at least went there during the summers for timber and for some trade with the natives for up until almost the 1400s. Almost up until the climate started to change and get colder, and that's when the Norse settlement were abandoned on Greenland. And I think that as long as there were Norsemen on Greenland, there were also Norsemen going to sailing to what is now Canada, because they needed the resources. Did they stay there during the winters? We don't know. Thorfinn Karlsevne, he did. It was not a pleasant time, apparently, but some probably stayed there during the winters. Another question is, how far south did they go? Again, we don't know. But we do know that they had a technology, being a seafaring people, to travel far. I mean, they crossed oceans. So why not? They were also no strangers to a violent conflict. I mean, they were Vikings. So again, it's just a guess, but I think that they went through the Canadian coast there, they explored, and I am very tempted to say that they also continued further south into what is now the USA, along the east coast there. I can't prove that, of course I can't. You would have to find archaeological evidence for that. Maybe there is some Viking DNA that was left there, if you know what I mean. Now there is Native American DNA on Iceland, which is a trace back to that time. So there were some intermarriage, or also maybe they took some natives as slaves. We don't know. Now I must add that the word skraling, or the skralings, it's a derogatory name. It really is, because it means small or weak, and it kind of probably hints to them being smaller than the Norsemen. And it was the name that they gave all the people, all the native people that they encountered there. You know, if the Norsemen arrived in what is now Canada in the year 1000, and they continued traveling there for timber and so on up until almost the 1400s, the beginning of the 1400s, that's 400 years. I believe the USA will be, as a nation, 250 years this year, 2026. Kind of puts things into perspective, doesn't it? By the way, I upload videos every week, every Saturday. A couple of weeks ago I uploaded a video about Greenland, so you might want to check that one out. Hope you enjoyed. Let's see if I can get out of this reindeer fur. Yeah, hope you enjoyed, and hope to see you in the next one. I will be continuing on my little hike up in these winter woodlands. We had a lot of snow, but now it's gone, most of it. Okay, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.